Windsurfing in central Pennsylvania? Really? When Mark Linn first offered to teach me to windsurf, I thought he was kidding. Turns out he was serious, and the Montour Preserve was a great place for my lesson. Mark brought along an extra instructor in the form of his dad, Bob Linn. The two rigged the sails and boards before we did some initial training on land. The first thing that I should tell you is that I'm not the best with terms like windward, leeward, and the like, so I can't say that all of Mark's instructions really took hold as I stood on dry land. The sail I was going to use was fairly small as windsurfing sails go, and my board was longer, making it less likely to tip over.
The smaller sail allows your body not to have to work so hard, but we don't have as big a target for the wind.
Right.
So our battery, if you will, the amount of power coming to us isn't as large, but it's a lot more manageable.
Manageable is good.
Manageable is good.
Like driving a car, you need to be able to accelerate, steer, and turn your board in order to control where you go and to keep the wind from simply pushing you around the lake.
So basically, the amount of sail we have pulled in is our gas pedal.
Okay,
So if I just say let out on the gas, let the sail out, you feel it?
Yeah.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
Now we like it about 5 times that amount.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, being able to turn the board is important as you need to tack back into the wind. It's a combination of foot pressure on the board and the wind that I needed to master in order to turn the board around.
When the winds are light and when we're new at it, we basically always turn with our body toward the bow.
Okay.
And use the wind to help turn the board. Okay. So what you would do is actually keep your hands on the boom, keep some pressure on the sail, and you would actually start twisting your feet and moving that around, and we would move all the way around. Yep.
Okay.
And let's say the wind was now coming in this way, you'd be in a position to come back this way, back to where you started.
Oh, I see.
So you can always keep your body between the wind and the sail.
Okay.
Okay? No matter what's going on, your body will be between you, your body will be between the wind and the sail.
Okay, what happens if your body is not between the wind and the sail?
Yeah, you basically could be like on the wrong side of the sail, and the sail would want to like just fall down on top of you. Yeah, every now and again you'll get spun around quick and the sail will land on you, which is no big deal. So if you hold on to the boom, you always get hit with the soft part of the sail.
Great. With that encouraging thought, Mark moved on to explain how to steer the board.
And then we tilt the sail toward the stern of the board or the back of the board, and that allows us to sail upwind.
Okay.
Sometimes we need to tilt the board forward to get a little speed up, but that'll try to push us back downwind with the front of our board.
Okay.
All right, so sometimes I'll say tilt forward, get a little speed, and then steer back into the wind.
Come back this way?
Exactly.
Okay.
All righty.
It makes sense now. Fortunately, there is a fail-safe if everything seems to be going wrong, as I anticipated it would.
So when anything ever goes wrong, you can just go neutral, which is just one hand on the rope, let the wind take the sail away from you, and then you can kind of regain your balance.
Once we were suited up in boots to give us a good grip on the board and, of course, life vests, it was time to hit the water. Bob helped me get the board set up and I climbed on. I pulled the sail out of the water, careful to use my legs and arms rather than my back to haul it up. Then I took some time getting used to balancing on the board. And now it was time to put into practice what I'd learned on land.
So we can practice turning if you like right now.
With Mark giving directions from his board and Bob nearby in the kayak, I stepped around the mast, moving the sail across the back of the board. The sail wasn't the hard part, it was figuring out how to turn the board with my feet without falling off. Though it wasn't the most graceful maneuver, I eventually got turned around and was off and running. Posture is obviously very important on the board to prevent straining or injuring your back.
Yeah, you're doing a really good job on your posture, by the way. You're keeping your backside kind of in over your heels, a nice clean line with our shoulders, our backside, and our heels, so we don't get a stiff back from doing this.
Steering the board, for me at least, was instinctive. In other words, I wasn't thinking about it. I was playing with the mast positions until I figured out how to fill the sail with wind and then how to steer upwind again. Remember, putting the mast toward the front picks up speed and putting it toward the back of the board allows you to steer.
Just had a major breakthrough in steering with using the wind.
Got it!
Superimpose light bulb above head.
After that, Mark and I were off to the races across the lake. I even managed to turn myself around, still not gracefully, but it did the job. After an hour or so on the lake, Mark and I thought it would be fun for me to try out the big boy board. The sail on this board is twice the size of the one I had been using before, and therefore significantly heavier. Just getting it out of the water was quite a task for me, as you can see, and even once I had it up, I was kind of hanging on for dear life. The same rules applied, but I had to change my position on the board a bit to allow for the larger sail. I did manage to get underway, and the larger sail definitely had more get up and go than the smaller one, but it was a whole lot like work for someone my size. The wind and the sail combined to try and pull me over, and occasionally I was able to recover by releasing the boom, holding the uphaul rope, and going neutral with the sail. Other times, though, I was not so lucky. But falling off is just part of windsurfing. A thunderstorm was coming in, giving us some nice wind to play with later in the afternoon. We even played a little game of chicken once I was back on my board. All in all, I have to say that windsurfing is a terrific way to get out on the water. It's good exercise, it's challenging, and above all, it's a lot of fun. If you want Mark and Bob Linn to teach you how to windsurf, you can contact Benchmark Adventures by calling 570-274-3442 or emailing them at benchmarkadventures@yahoo.com. Well, that's another episode of In Your Neighborhood. I'm your host, Jennifer Wakeman. I want to thank Mark and Bob Linn for being such terrific instructors today. And remember, if you have a story idea, you can email it to me at jenwakeman@ccn-news.com. See you around.